everyone and welcome. This is Elena and I'm back with another card video. In this video I'm showing you how to do selective embossing as well using multiple embossing powders on one image using the MISTI tool. So I'm using the new Here Art Holiday Ornaments Stamp and cut set, and I'll be using as well Christmas messages. So I'm starting with the ornaments. I'm using Hydrangea Ombre ink for the smaller ornament because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, which ornament. On my card, I'll be stamping 2 ornaments. So I stamped that one, I did it twice, and now I'm quickly heat setting it. Not really heat setting it, but drying it with my heat gun because I'll apply some Versamark. And I don't want the embossing powder to stick on the whole image. So I just applied embossing powder on the hanger and on the bottom of the ornament. Not embossing powder, but Versamark ink. And then I stamped it over the already purple ornament. So you can see I just got the embossing powder. I'm using platinum embossing powder from Here Arts. And I just have on the bottom and on the top of my image. And next I'm cleaning around that like kind of scallop edges on the bottom of the ornament. So I have just that bottom part embossed. So next I'm doing the second ornament. I'll be using Tide Pool to Navy Ombre ink pad. So I'm just making sure that that paper, that cardstock is in the corner of my MISTI. So I'm just inking it. And you see that I kind of tap that ink pad up and down so I have nice transition between the colors. So I'm not really heat setting it, but drying it a little bit so the embossing powder doesn't stick to areas that I don't want to. So I'm just applying carefully. I'm using a Versamark cube instead of ink pad, and then kind of wiping that from the top, that Versamark using a soft cloth. So I'm applying now the platinum embossing powder and kind of cleaning that edge using a clean and dry paintbrush. So I use this paintbrush mostly for embossing, so I don't usually paint with it. So now I heat set it, and you see how that bottom part is nice and shiny and kind of still very platinum looking. So I'm just using now the coordinating dies. I'm securing them with microspore medical tape by magic of YouTube. They're already die cut. So now I'm trying to position them where I didn't pre-plan this card ahead of time. So now I'm positioning, kind of figuring out how I want my layout to be. So I'll stamp that branch on the right side of my panel. And then I'm using Pine Here Arts Bold ink. So I'm stamping it twice to get more solid image. And next I'm overstamping on top of it with Versamark. And I'll emboss with sparkle embossing powder. I'm embossing the whole branch. So here I realized that I forgot to apply that anti-static embossing powder. So I kind of remove all the embossing powder and apply that powder. And now I had no problem when I added the embossing powder and I heat set it. So next I'm putting it back in my MISTI, applying that embossing powder tool. And I'm just applying ink just on the tips of that branch. And I'm adding some platinum embossing powder. I know I say a lot of embossing powder, but I'm using a lot of embossing powder. Now I'm heat setting it, and you can see how the two colors kind of mix together. And you get nice transition between the sparkle and the platinum. So now I'm trying to figure out which ornament to use, and I went with the purple one, the Hydrangea one, but I'm stamping the hanger. I'm using again Versamark, and I'll emboss it again. So everything is kind of nice and coordinated. So that one quickly. So now the bow, the little bow on the hanger. Again, I'm applying that embossing powder tool anti-static so the powder doesn't stick to areas, especially when I work with embossing powder that is not clear. It's very important to apply that one so you don't get kind of sparkles all over your cardstock. So I'm kind of positioning that ornament because I want kind of everything to transition nicely, so it's part of that bow. I stamped it, and then when I adhere the ornament, they'll kind of fit together, kind of putting a puzzle together. Next, I'm using a sentiment from Christmas Messages. It says peace and I forget, peace and love to yours, or something like that. I forget what it says. To you and yours. So peace and love to you and yours. And I embossed it again with the same embossing powder with the platinum. So here I decided to go with the purple ornament with the Hydrangea one. So next I'm stamping that bow. On top of that ornament too. And I'll emboss it again. I know I'm using, for this card, I used a lot of embossing powder. Pretty much everything is embossed. So next I'm using one of the rectangle infinity dies to cut my panel down so I can adhere it onto a purple card base. So I'm using here lavender card base. It's top folding, so we'll make the folds right here using my score body tool. It's kind of my favorite scoring tool. And next I'll stamp the repeating flowers background stamp onto my card base, and I'll apply the embossing body. This time, because it's larger area, I use the little pillow thing. It's kind of the same powder, but that's kind of covers larger area faster. And next I'm stamping the background stamp using Versamark. So there is my background, my card base. Now I'm applying that carefully, that platinum embossing powder. And next I'll heat set it starting from the bottom going to the top. So I realized there was a little area that wasn't covered with the embossing powder. So you can notice here how the embossing powder is melting. Kind of the image is becoming more shiny. So now we're almost done here. So I think that looks pretty good. Next I'm using some fun foam to pop that panel up, and some fast fuse or extreme Tombow Extreme adhesive. And next I'm using some foam tape to pop the ornament up. So to finish off my card, I'm using a few of the champagne and few of the frost. I'm using the white sequins. Those are as well new in the New Winter Fun Time Hero Arts catalog. I'm using Ranger Multi-Matte Medium and a little micro applicator. I get those from Amazon, and I'll have the in the supply list. So with this, my card is finished, and here it is. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in another video. As well, before you go, don't forget to click on that subscribe button so you don't miss any other card videos, and as well visit my blog, elenacrause.com. See you soon. Bye!